After a lengthy Major League Baseball offseason that featured several massive moves and a 99-day lockout, baseball season is finally upon us as teams will begin regular season play this Thursday, April 7th. For the occasion, we are bringing in some of the greatest baseball minds here on the Ithaca College campus to fill you in before opening day. Let's start things off with Kyle DeSantis here. The New York Mets had quite a busy offseason. What can we expect from the boys in Queens this spring?
Well, a big offseason indeed. First off, we're starting at the manager position again. Luis Rojas' option wasn't picked up. You bring in Buck Showalter. That's a big name to lead this new Mets team. Talking about those additions, Starlin Marte, Mark Canha, Eduardo Escobar, Chris Bassett in the bullpen den. I didn't even mention Max Scherzer signed with the Mets, and the Mets, especially him and DeGrom, they're going to be a great starting duo when they get healthy, obviously right now, not starting the regular season. And then you got some people looking for some comeback seasons after 2021, Francisco Lindor, Jeff McNeil. And then again, if we're looking towards the future, number 2 prospect Brett Beatty could be coming to Queens soon. A lot to look forward to if you're a fan of the New York Mets.
No doubt about that. Moving down the line here, Matt, the Chicago Cubs. No more Bryant, no more Rizzo, no more Baez. What's the future have in store here for Chicago?
Well, Max, it's a new era on the north side of Chicago, and with that, out with the old, in with the new, and the new, I mean additions on Addison with Marcus Stroman, Seiya Suzuki, just to name a couple. I also want to take a look at the next-gen Northsiders with Nick Madrigal, Nico Horner, but the most important part are the bricks behind the ivy, and I'm not talking about the outfield fence. I am talking about the pitching rotation. You look at Kyle Hendricks, you look at Marcus Stroman. They're the ivy that everybody knows and everybody sees, but what people rarely see are the bricks, the anchor of the rotation. Justin Steele, Keegan Thompson, just to name a couple, in addition to Alec Mills, and if those three can have a good season, it may change things from a rebuild to a reload on the north side.
Now, guys, speaking of a team that's young and on the rise, let's talk about those Seattle Mariners last year who won 90 games. And they made some major additions this offseason, adding the reigning AL Cy Young Award winner in Robbie Ray, Eugenio Suarez, Adam Frazier, Jesse Winker, just to name a few. You can even include Julio Rodriguez, the number 3 overall prospect in Major League Baseball, who's projected to be their starting center fielder on opening day. But out of all those guys, I want to talk about Matt Brash, who's one of the most underlooked prospects in all of baseball, ranked number 98 in the top 100 by MLB.com. Struck out just about 140 batters and about 80 innings of work in minor league ball last year. Was a player to be named later from the San Diego Padres, one of the best sliders of professional baseball, a fastball that can get up to 98, 99. He's won the 5 spot in the Mariners rotation. I expect him to pitch big innings for Seattle this year and be one of those rookies that people really didn't know at first and get to fall in love with as the season goes on. Lastly, Eli, those New York Yankees, major expectations in an explosive AL East. What can we expect?
The expectations are sky high indeed, especially in that packed AL East. And listen, the expectations were that they were going to have a new manager, potentially a new GM coming into this season. Aaron Boone's contract was up, and the Yankees decided, how about we sign him to a 3-year extension? And it pretty much shocked Yankees fans. And if you told them at the beginning of the season, the beginning of the offseason, that they weren't going to have Carlos Correa, they were going to have the same first baseman, same center fielder, they were going to have pretty much the same lineup as they did last year, they would be pretty shocked. And I think the expectations are so high that if they don't, maybe World Series, if they don't win a pennant, we may see Aaron Boone out. We may see Brian Cashman out. So the expectations are very, very high, and they're really going to need to come up clutch this year.
Great words from the Yankees man himself. Let's now take a look at our Cruise standings predictions. For this year, we predict the Blue Jays to take the American League East for the first time since 2015. The Chicago White Sox, not your Cubs, will repeat as the Kings of the Central for the 3rd consecutive season. And of course, those Houston Astros, even without Carlos Correa, will win their 4th AL West title in the last 5 campaigns. Let's switch to the NL now. The Steve Cohen effect will be in full swing as the Mets will take the NL East. And with one of the best pitching staffs in baseball over the latter 2 decades, we have the Brewers finishing on top in the NL Central. And of course, over in LA, the Stars will shine bright again as the Dodgers look to regain their title back from the rival Giants as the best in the West. Now, quickly, let's go over our World Series predictions. Matchup first, then your winner. Eli, I'm going to start with you.
I've got a little bit of a surprise. The Atlanta Braves and the Tampa Bay Rays. And I've got the Rays coming out on top. That we've seen how well they perform in the playoffs. Wander Franco, he's going to be an MVP candidate. He might be my AL MVP pick this year. This team is young, exciting. They're going to have Tyler Glasnow back. They're my pick.
All right, Matt, how about you?
Well, I'm going to go with a rematch of what we saw a few years ago, and that was the Dodgers against the Boston Red Sox, and I think LA is going to come out on top. Boston a little bit less than LA here.
And Kyle, what do you got?
Well, I have the Dodgers coming out of the NL, obviously, with Freddie Freeman. That makes them the top favorite. And I got the Blue Jays coming out of the wild card, making it all the way to the big time here in the Fall Classic. Got the Dodgers going on top.
I like your thinking. I'm going to go with the Blue Jays and Dodgers as well. Let's just speak a little bit to that Dodgers team. We mentioned Freeman. You got Muncy. You have, of course, Mookie Betts. The fact that Gavin Lux, one of baseball's most premier prospects over the last couple years, doesn't necessarily have a starting spot on this team is absolutely absurd. The Dodgers won over 105 games last year. We're a wild card team. I think they're going to jump on top of that and get that what some would consider a little more legitimate World Series ring than in 2020. Once again, thank you to Eli Fishman and Kyle DeSantis, our baseball experts, to join us. The Yankees and Red Sox will open things up on Thursday starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time as we celebrate what I think should be a national holiday and opening day. Thanks, guys, for joining us.